Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be around 12 brands that I am picking up less and less. And before I get into this, just some things to note. These are not brands I will never pick up. These are brands that I'm being more selective on, and I will share why. These are brands that I still like, that I used to get excited about, and for most of them. And, but I went through, I'm always kind of looking through my data and how can I make improvements? And one of the things I like to look at is how many brands, how many items have I picked up of this brand versus how many have sold. And the data I'm using in this is just pulled from my Poshmark. I didn't bring in eBay, partly because I sold about 1,800 items on Poshmark. So it's a good chunk. And these are all kind of brands that I would assume would do well on that platform. So the sell-through rate for these brands, for me specifically, has not been the greatest. Now, a number of factors: size, style, condition, all of that stuff can play into it. So you might love all of these brands, some of these brands, one of these brands. It might be your best-selling brand, and it's not to say it's a good or a bad thing. It's to say, with my numbers, with what I've picked up, I haven't sold more than half of what I've picked up. So the sell-through rate for me is not as high as some other things. The average sale price for a lot of this stuff is not super high. So I'm okay sitting on some Burberry. And I would love to have more Burberry in my closet. Even if it didn't sell quickly, I'm waiting for the right buyer or something along those lines. But these are things that are a little bit more common. And I think that if they're not selling, there's a problem with my price. There's a problem with the item, the size, etc. And it's not going to get a high average sale price for me. So I really want to focus on searchability when I'm picking up certain brands like these. So is there a style name attached to it? Does it have something unique about it? Does it, have something trendy about it that I can have in my search functions? And size, so maybe it's on this list and I'm like, I don't know if I want to get it. Well, if it's a 31, 32, 33, I might be more inclined to pick it up than if it's a size 4 or a 6. And again, I think I did a video a while ago on do bigger sizes really sell better? I'll link it below if I can remember. But, and in fact, I did have quicker sales or more sales with the larger sizes. However, I just don't pick them up as much. I don't find them as much. So if I can find a decent brand in a higher size, I might be more inclined to pick that up. And yeah, I think I've shared everything about this. So if this sounds interesting to you, I'm going to go into each brand. I'm going to tell you how many I have listed on Poshmark and how many I've sold on Poshmark. And hopefully this can be helpful in case you're kind of on the fence or you pick up some of these brands or you want to do something similar, like look at your own data in a similar way as well to see if there's some things that maybe you should pick up less frequently as well. So hit the thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, all that fun jazz, and let's just jump right in. So the first brand is a brand that I personally own. I have purchased full price. Before I was a reseller, I have bought out used when sourcing, bought for myself from this brand, and it's J brand. It's a denim brand. I don't know if they sell anything besides denim, but that's kind of what they're known for. It's sold at places, the retail ranges from somewhere between 100 to 200, so it's a good quality brand. I like their stuff. They have kind of some good basic styles, and then they throw in some kind of trendier stuff. I just like the brand, and I have listed 17 J brand items on Poshmark. And I've been picking up this brand since I started because A, I find it a lot around me, and B, I personally wear it. So I knew the value of it, at least from a retail perspective. I've only sold 4 out of that 17, and that is not a great sell-through rate in my opinion. Now, some factors that play into it, again, am I pricing too high? Well, I don't think so for the majority of them. But is sizing a factor? All of those types of things. The style. So is it a high waist versus a low waist? Is it a skinny versus a boot cut? Something. Now, I would say most of these are probably a mid to high rise, skinny jean, maybe a flare or two. But it's still a brand I really like, but I'm just passing on it more and more. unless it, like I said, is a bigger style, bigger size, in which case I just have a hard time finding bigger sizes. And bigger sizes is like my size. I mean, like anything that's not tiny is what I'm throwing in. So, 10, 12 to plus size. In this brand, I just tend to find it a lot in the smaller sizes. And so I think that has really played a factor into it. But that's my first one. The second brand is another brand that's expensive that I think a lot of people pick up and like, and it's Joe's Jeans. And you might not pick up any of these. Maybe you've already learned your lesson on a lot of this stuff, but I also have had 17 items listed that are Joe's Jeans, and only 6 have sold. So still significantly less than half of the items listed have sold. Similar problem with this. It's not, I don't think, the style that I'm having an issue with. It is the sizing. It might be the rise, and it might be my pricing. I might be looking at those higher price sales and basing it off of that when there's just a lot of them out there. So definitely a brand I'm not picking up as much. And pretty much all of these I wouldn't pick up unless it was $1 or at the bins, so $1 to $2. Unless I wanted to buy it for myself, wear it a few times, and then sell it. But for the most part, I don't usually pay up for these brands. The third one is controversial. I think if you are new or if you're in an area that you can't find this brand very much, it is a fun brand to find because it's usually cute. They have fun styles. You see a lot of people in their hauls picking it up, and it is common in my neck of the woods because I source in Southern California. It's certainly not common where I live. So like where I really live, but in LA, I find it pretty often, and that's Free People. I've gotten a lot of messages from people saying they found it for the first time. They've been reselling for 4 months. They were so excited. They paid full price, and then it just won't sell. There's a lot of it out there. It's got a very distinct style. It is very expensive, usually retail for a lot of items. I've listed 122 Free People items on Poshmark, and 60 have sold. Now that's close to half, so that's not terrible. However, it's still less than half of what I have listed. Again, goes back to, is it a sizing thing? Style can be kind of hit or miss. If it's a plain t-shirt from Free People, it's probably not going to get the attraction as some really boho pretty dress. So I think it's a brand that I'm just pickier on with style. I definitely don't want to pay up for too often. But I think it's just understanding what is selling for me. Sizing plays a factor. Sizing doesn't play as big of a factor for this brand for me, but just in general, there's just a lot out there. So the next one is very similar, and that's Anthropologie. I've listed 132 items of Anthropologie, and I have sold 64. It's another one that just, if you don't find it a lot, you get excited, you might pay full price. It is another one where some items of Free People and some items of Anthropologie can bring in a good dollar amount, but you really need to know these brands and really need to know those hot ticket items. I mean, you could easily sort from high to low on sold and see some of the items that are, very detailed and extravagant and stuff like that. And those might bring in a little bit more money, but the basic Free People top or the basic Anthropologie top, there's a lot of them out there. So I haven't had, again, it's not terrible. It's close to half, but it's not even half. So it's definitely a brand I pick up less and less, and I'm just trying to be more specific. The next one is a brand that I also have owned myself. I like the style. It's sold at places like Nordstrom or boutiques, and I believe it has been sold at Anthropologie, but I think of it as more of like a brand of its own, is Bailey 44. I like the stuff. It's another one that's pretty decent price retail. And I have listed 3 items from this brand, and I've sold 0. So it's not a huge group. I mean, you're thinking, oh, that's only 3 items, but that's 3 items in, I've probably all of those have been sitting for a while because I haven't picked up this brand in a while. So I would say it's definitely something that I might not be able to sell or have to get rid of at a much cheaper price. So again, it's one that I think when you look up comps, some of the comps can be really great. I just can't seem to move it. So if it's really special, I'll pick it up. If it's a great size, I'll pick it up. But It's definitely something I'm avoiding more and more. The next brand is BB Dakota. If you've bought any inventory from any of those wholesale places that send Nordstrom returns or stuff like that, you might be getting a lot of BB Dakota. It is a brand that's sold at boutiques, small boutiques, places like Nordstrom, Macy's, and I think this might be another one that has been sold at Anthropologie, although I can't be for sure. I've listed 14 of them and I've sold 5. So again, less than half. It's a brand I like the style. I've owned myself. I bought a number of wedding dresses to wear for weddings through this brand, and I just like it. So it's easy for me to pick it up, but it doesn't have a high return. I can't seem to move it quickly. And right now there's just a lot of new tags, BB Dakota, coming in a lot of these boxes. So it's definitely a brand that I am very, very selective with now. American Eagle, I think I talked about this in one of the box swaps when I received American Eagle. It is a brand that I think it can sell, but I've listed 5 American Eagle items and I've sold 2. And although again, that's close to half, I don't pick it up all that much because style has always played a factor. So I like their Bermuda shorts because I think that there are people that like their jean shorts, Bermuda style. It's a little bit harder to find. There's a lot of short shorts. And I think there's just some loyal Bermuda short wearers. There's been some kind of trendier styles, high rise, and they get some likes, but they don't sell for very much. So it would really, it's not an expensive brand to begin with, and they're always running sales. So although it's a brand that if the style was right, I would pick up, it's definitely something that I don't aim to pick up. And I've only listed 5, and I probably, unless, I don't think I'll pick it up that much anymore, because even best case scenario, I'm looking at, $20 to $30, maybe $35 for something. It's just too risky for me. And there's a lot out there. So it's just something that I'll probably scale back on. Next up is another expensive brand of jeans, which is Hudson jeans. I've listed 9 and I've sold 3. So 33% sell-through rate on that brand. Most of these, I haven't picked up this brand in a while, so most of these have been listed for a while. Again, this is another one like I found with a lot of high-end or mid to high-end jean denim brands. These probably are $200 retail. They're expensive. People, they have styles. People, I get likes, but they tend to be smaller sizes that I pick up. The 24s, the 25s, the 26s. So I think it's a brand I would definitely pick up if they were the larger sizes, but I just don't find those very much. So. And also things like the Rise and, that type of stuff. Adriana Goldschmied is another one. I feel like there's a lot of I just don't do well with jeans, I don't think. Again, it's another one that's smaller sizes that I typically find. Sometimes there are styles I just haven't. So with the Hudson, it's not 9 that I've listed and 3 that I sold. Adriana Goldschmied, I've listed 19 and I've only sold 6. So again, not a great return on that. And so unless it's a larger size and a really great style, I'm just going to pass. This next one is a lot of people don't pick this up anymore. I still would and still occasionally do because it is expensive and I think some of their stuff is really cute. However, when I looked at my numbers, BCBG Max Azria, I have listed 18 on Poshmark and I've sold 6. So again, it's one of those things that I have to just be in love with it. It has to be a good size. I just picked up, right after I made this list, I found the most beautiful BCBG Max Azria skirt, maxi skirt. And if it were just a smidge bigger, I would be keeping it. It's just beautiful. And I made that exception for that piece because it was a size medium. It had a little bit of elastic on the waist, I believe. No, actually didn't. But it's just this very boho looking, very elegant looking, very pretty. But unless I'm truly in love with it, I'm just going to pass. Just because I haven't had much luck with it. And then the last 2, Topshop, which again, a lot of people might not be picking up. I like it because it kind of reminds me of San Francisco. I don't know. It kind of has it's a UK, I think. And then they started selling it at some high-end department stores. Like they have the Topshop Moto jegging kind of jeans that were really popular. And I know I owned, I just felt like I think it's a little dated, or it brings back some memories for me. I've listed 16, I've sold 7, but these don't typically go for a lot. They go for, 15 to 20 for most pieces for me. So it's just not gonna be worth it unless I'm just truly in love with it, and it's pretty cheap. And then the last one might be controversial, but I was surprised by this. ModCloth. I remember and still hear people get excited about finding ModCloth. And maybe it's that I'm not finding the plus size ModCloth, and that's really what does it, which I've heard some people say. But I've listed 6 ModCloth items and I've only sold 1. And, they do have some brands that actually say ModCloth and some brands that fall under the ModCloth label, but don't actually say it on there. But yeah, it has not been a brand that sells well for me. And so it's another one, unless I absolutely love it or unless it's a great size, I'm going to pass. So those are my 12 brands. I think I counted correctly. And I will still pick up every single one of these brands if everything is right. If it's cheap enough, if it's a good size, if it's a style I truly love. And that's really going to be a factor for all of these. And the more, and some of them might come back in style and I might pick up more and more. But for right now, based off of my sales, which is all I can really factor my business on, is I'm going to pass on most of these. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. If you want to look at your own, you can look at your inventory report on Poshmark. You can look at your sales report. You can compare. It's pretty easy to do. And yeah, so it's just interesting to look at this stuff. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.